You can open multiple sessions with Claude Code to work on many features in parallel. To manage these sessions and make sure you're not overwriting the same file, you can use Git Worktrees. So let's add Git Worktrees to add 3 features to the chatbot in parallel. I'll see you there. So I'm going to hop back into Claude. And as we saw earlier, Claude Code comes built in with quite a few / commands. But you can also make your own. To make your own custom commands, inside of the .claude folder, let's make a new folder called commands. And inside of here, we're going to make a markdown file with the name of the command that we'd like. The command here that I'm going to make is called implement feature. So I'll create a markdown file called implementfeature.md. Inside here, I can place whatever I'd like. But what I want to show you that's very special is if you have any arguments you want to pass to your custom command, you can reference it using this $arguments variable. So what I'm asking for here is that when this command is used, I'll be specifying that you're implementing a new feature. The user can then specify whatever that feature is. And then I want to make sure that Claude Code is well aware to only do this for front-end features and to write the changes made to a file called frontendchanges.md. You can imagine there are many different use cases for custom commands, certain ways you want to run tests or run files, and anything that you put in here does not automatically get added to your context, unlike a Claude MD. So if you want something to be applied to every single instance of Claude Code that you make, use your Claude MD file. But if you just have specific commands that you may or may not use across different conversations, right here is a great place to put them. I'm going to be using this custom command when I start talking about worktrees. But before we do that, let's quit out of Claude Code, hop back in, and just verify that we can see that custom command. And here, I see implement feature, and I see the description is coming from the first part of this markdown file. Now that I've added this custom command, let's go ahead and add and commit it. I could do this from the command line, but I'm actually going to ask Claude to do that for me. Add and commit changes made. This is nice so that Claude Code can create a nice commit message with some descriptive information for what was done. We'll see that it's adding the .claude folder and committing with the commands necessary. We can see here that this has been added to the repository. And since we've granted permissions for this already, we don't have to respond again. If you're ever curious where that lives, inside of the Claude folder, there is a settings.local.json file. Inside of this file, we can specify what commands we've allowed so that we don't need to confirm every single time. As you can see here as well, when we used Playwright, we gave permissions. And if you'd like to add your own, you can easily do so in this file or even with the handy /permissions command. Now that we've got that custom command set up, let's talk a little bit about how we might want to work in parallel with Claude Code. Instead of just opening up multiple terminal windows and working directly on this code base, we're going to use Git to make sure that we don't overwrite existing files when we have multiple instances of Claude Code. I might have 2 different instances of Claude Code operating on the same file. And if I do that with the environment that I'm in right now, there's going to be overwriting, bug creation, and quite a bit of confusion. Thankfully, Git has an excellent option here to use a feature called worktrees. And worktrees allow me to essentially create copies of the code base, operate in isolation, and then at the end, merge those in together. And in fact, I can use Claude to help with that merging and management of my worktrees. To get started with worktrees, I'm going to first make a folder called .trees. And inside of this worktrees folder, I'm going to go ahead and add a couple worktrees. Let's add a worktree using the git worktree add command. And then we'll specify the folder as well as the name of the worktree that I want to add. We'll call this one UI feature. We'll then go ahead and add another one called testing feature, and then finally a third one called quality feature. To confirm I've created all of these, I can take a look and I can see that I'm on the main branch currently and that I've created 3 separate work trees. To set up correctly in each of these environments, I'm going to open up the trees folder and I'm going to open up a terminal for each one of them. I'll start with my UI feature and bring that over here. I'll then go ahead, bring in my testing feature, and I'll move that right to the side. Finally, let's bring in our quality feature. Go ahead, bring that over up here. To give us a little more room, we'll make this a bit smaller. And now we have 3 dedicated terminal windows, and we'll hide the Explorer as well. Now let's open up Claude for each one of these environments. What we can do now is run Claude Code in parallel and make sure that if the same files are modified, we're not overwriting, and we can fix that later when we merge in these work trees. I'm going to use this implement feature command, and then I'm going to put in a particular feature that I'd like here. And that feature allows me to add a toggle button to switch between dark and light themes. So let's go ahead and create a toggle button, position it, and make sure that I can navigate for this particular toggle button. We'll start with this part and then add in the light theme variant. While this is running, I can now move to another work tree. And in this second work tree, let's start thinking a little bit about what I want to do for this testing framework. I'm going to pass in a prompt here to enhance the existing testing framework and add additional tests for fast API endpoints. While that's going, let's add some essential code quality tools to our development workflow. As we do this, we can start to see that changes are being requested. So let's go ahead and shift between these environments and confirm the changes that we want. Our tests are being written, and our additional development dependencies for analyzing code base structure and formatting are being added as well. What we're going to see here is that we're modifying a file called pyproject.toml, and we're also going to see that there's a request being added to edit that particular file as well. As we continue these options, we'll make edits to these files, and we'll go ahead and see at the same time that our front-end code is being done as expected. We can work in parallel and make sure that none of these particular changes are being overridden by other parts of the code base. If there happen to be changes that we've made to similar files, we can ensure that those merge conflicts are fixed, and we can do that using Claude. Our front-end changes are being written, we're adding more tests, and we're adding some formatting tools and development scripts for quality checks. So we're going to proceed as expected, making sure that quality scripts are being done, and it looks like our front-end features are being added. Now, add that light theme the same way that we did previously. We'll use our implement feature custom command to make sure we're writing that to our changelog, and we'll add a light theme as well. Once that's done, we'll go ahead and queue up a few other prompts we'd like for JavaScript functionality and implementation details. So while that's running, I can check in on other scripts. I can confirm I want to run those, and if there's something going on, Claude Code can fix per necessary. Seems like there are some scripts that Claude doesn't know about, so we'll go ahead and either install dependencies or make sure we're running things as expected. You can see here, we're starting some code quality checks. We've written our API endpoint testing, and we're adding more front-end functionality. Once this is all done, we can head over to the browser, we can confirm our checks are done, but before we go ahead and do that, let's bring in all of these individual changes. If we wanted to run the tests, we can confirm this is as expected. If we want to head to the browser for our UI testing, we can do so. And here we can see code base formatting is done, development scripts have been added, and documentation has been updated. We saw before there was a pyproject.toml file that was added across 2 different work trees, so there might be some conflicts when figuring out these individual pieces. Now that we feel good about each of these changes, let's add and commit with a descriptive message. Let's also do the same thing on this work tree. Since we're going to be merging in these particular commits, we're going to want to make sure we have descriptive commit messages. We can understand what was done in each of these work trees. We've committed this particular commit, and we're doing the same on this one right here. We've finished up our UI enhancement, so let's do the same, add and commit with a descriptive message. If you find yourself writing these kinds of prompts like add and commit with a descriptive message, this also could be another use case for a nice custom command where we can specify exactly some styling that we want or the way that our company operates with best Git practices. Now that I finished committing across all 3 of these, I can now go back to my main branch and merge some things in. So I'm going to close these terminal environments and hop back to our main one. So now I'm going to ask Claude Code to use the git merge command to merge in all of the work trees in the .trees folder and fix any conflicts if there are any. So let's have Claude Code merge all of these particular trees and make sure that they work as expected. We can see here there are 3 work trees available. So we're going to start by merging in each of these work trees. We'll confirm this is the command we want to use, and then this should work as expected. Looks like our testing feature doesn't have any conflicts. Let's bring on our UI feature. And again, we could write these commands on our own, but Claude Code knows exactly what to do from our prompt. Now we can merge in the quality feature branch. And here we'll see if there are any conflicts. And as we can see, in this particular file, there are conflicts. So what we're going to have Claude Code do is analyze these conflicts and complete the merge. And this can be quite valuable when you have small merge conflicts that you don't want to manually go through each time. Having tests here is also quite valuable to make sure that once we've finished, we can run our tests and the code base works as expected. It's now continuing with the merge as expected, and it's going to commit all of these changes with the resolved merge conflicts. If I'd like after, I can ask for it to remove these work trees, or I can keep them there if I need. It'll do a quick test to make sure that these files are here as expected and that the merge configurations are what are expected here as well. We can also head back to the browser and see if our front-end changes are implemented as expected. Looks like Claude Code is finished up. We've added necessary dependencies. We've modified our PyProject Toml. We've added tests. We've implemented the light dark themes. We've implemented our black code formatter to make sure that code is as expected in a certain format, and added that configuration in the same file that we worked on with another work tree. We fixed up any conflicts. Let's make sure this is working as expected. So back in the browser, I now see here, I have this lovely theme. And as I toggle through, I can see a light theme and a dark theme. There might be some more things I want to tweak here and there, but I've been able to edit across all parts of the stack, even do things in the linting and DevOps side of things, all without overwriting, causing challenging headaches through the power of Git work trees. In the next lesson, we're going to see how we can use Claude Code outside of the terminal through an integration with GitHub to allow for reviewing pull requests, making changes, and being helpful outside of the terminal ecosystem.